great speakers today. So we've got Carlos Ohde from Brazil, from Flex, and also from Flex is Leandro Santos. So we have the Innovation Director and the VP Operations for South America with us today, talking about lessons learned in the circular economy from South America. And without wanting to say too much about what they're going to say, what I think is really interesting about this is it's not just about circular economy of operations. They are very much big picture and business and society. So I think they've got some wonderful things to say. So having put you on a pedestal, I will hand over to, I think Leandro is going to speak first. So over to you. Thank you very much for presenting for us.
Thanks, Peter. I would like to start thanking you and University of York to the opportunity to be here today and share a little about your experience in Brazil, in circular economy, in Flex Brazil. So myself and my co-speaker, Carlos, are very honored to be here and have this opportunity. So before we talk about circular economy, I would like to talk why we, myself, Carlos, and our team Brazil believes the circular economy journey starts in Brazil in Flex, at least at this level. So normally when you think about technology or trends, we see leading countries in technology from Europe, USA, North America, Asia. Normally you don't see lots of new technologies and new business models coming through emerging countries like Brazil, but we believe Brazil has a unique set of capabilities today that make Brazil a very singular place to deliver new technologies. And in this setup, we see circular economy as one of those new technologies to learn. When you think about Brazil, Brazil is one of the few countries in Earth that has a very huge consumer market. So in Brazil today, we are 220 million people, and most of this population has some capability to consume. Secondly, Brazil, due to the policies we developed in the past 40 years, has a very wide and broader industrial base. I would say Brazil has industries, relevant industries, in most of the existing business. We have automotive business, we have medicine, we have drugs, we can produce vaccines like now in the COVID situation, we can produce big machines, we can produce lots of industries, and electronic industries is one of that. Brazil is one of the single countries that produce in volume cell phones, notebooks, desktops, besides some countries in Asia. And finally, and so important is, we have developed some center of excellence through our universities and we Institute of Technology that give us a very large and deep knowledge to apply technology. Besides, we are not able to develop new technologies, we are very fast to apply technology. So these three pillars, they give us one advantage, a short-term advantage, because make our learning circle very, very small. So this one of those, why we think Brazil was the place. Can you help me to the next, Carlos? The second thing that makes us believe Brazil is a good place to start up testing circular economy and help us to grow is the fact that we have our society is spread around classes and they are well represented. It's not good when you think for the picture, yeah, we would like everybody to be in a better situation in Brazil, but that means the life cycle of products in Brazil is higher than other countries because products pass from one to another as we reuse and as we remanufacture our products. So next. And the third one, very important, is why Flex? I think Flex is a unique company and gives us the opportunity to invest beyond economics. So we have a very high level of commitments worldwide. In Brazil, it's not different with governance, inclusion, and sustainability. So it's part of our core business, and we are stimulated to innovate in those areas. So next, Carlos. Moving to speak a little about Flex. Flex is a worldwide organization with more than 120 operations everywhere, from design centers, parts production. Most of our business is manufacturing products for our biggest and technological advanced OEMs. We provide also post-manufacturing services, and we start, and Brazil is a set of that, circular manufacturing services to support our customer strategies for the future. Next, Carlos, please. Only to make it simple to people understand, that's what we do in Brazil. Everywhere in the world, we do similar stuff. So in Brazil, we produce chargers for cell phones, batteries, cell phones, personal computers, monitors, mainframes, equipment for infrastructure, switches, routers, wireless stations. We do produce in Brazil trackers and solar panels for solar industry, receivers and transmitters of RF signals, and also import and distribute products for some of our customers. Next, Carlos, please. So, G set up work with very large business partners in Brazil with high level of technology requirements. We differentiate us from the other countries that we have normally on the manufacturing, distribution, and the consumer marketing, because everything is very close. So the consumer market in our factory in São Paulo is like 40 minutes away. And some of our countries, customers, they challenge us to make the circular economy real. So we develop Syntronics, that's an innovation center that apply technology to make industrial waste and post-manufacturing waste raw material back. As we evolve that, we figure out part of those products we could reinsert in the market through a fabrica.com. That's our hub of technology, including e-commerce to our employees and outside marketing, and allow us to achieve zero waste certification. That means we produce millions of products every month. We bring back over 250 tons of electronic waste, and nothing goes to landfill. 95 to 97 return to manufacturing cycle, closed or open loop as raw material, and a few portion, like 3 to 5%, become energy. To continue evolving the circular economy journey, we have in Brazil our circular our R&D Center of Excellence, called the FIT, that's Flextronics Institute of Technology, that help us to design products for this new environment. And we launched 2 years ago our Innovation Center that help companies to design business based on the circular economy model. And all of it is making us to learn fast because everything is very close to each other. So only another way to see this ecosystem, we bring up ideas and business through our Product Innovation Center. We help develop products and adapt for Brazilian market and circular economy model on our R&D Center, FIT. We produce and distribute through Flex. We reuse and remanufacture through our fabrica.com, and we develop technology to reinsert post-manufacturing products and industrial waste into manufacturing process through Syntronics. In our innovation circular economy ecosystem that we in Flex means sketch to scale, and we add the circulate. In Brazil, we have 3 stuff that are very unique, but only in Brazil we have Syntronics inside Flex world. So I'm going to pass now to Carlos, that he's going to deep dive the circular economy challenge that we face to create this ecosystem in Brazil. So Carlos, please.
So thank you, Leandro and Peter. It's an absolute privilege to assist this masterclass here. Since the very beginning, 2012, we've been learning a lot about circular economy from Europe, and particularly from the UK. So you as a country, as a continent, you are the best on circular economy, and I feel more than happy to collaborate with you here in this call. So as Leandro said, we have some challenges here to overcome the barriers of circular economy, but we also have some good things in the country. And I would like to stress some points here. First is that there's a lot of challenges. We have technical challenges, we have financial challenges, we have legal or regulation challenges to put an operation like this one in Brazil. And if you are starting one operation, you cannot expect support from other areas. For example, in general, you cannot expect support from government. In general, you cannot expect support from companies, and in general, you cannot expect support from consumers. So, but in some cases, you choose the right guys on government and companies and consumers, and you can make the things work. So the best way to overcome this challenge, in our point of view, it's applying technology. So we must be more efficient and more competitive by using technology than the other competitors. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the history of Syntronics, where we started and how we use technology over these 8 years that we are working right now. So the first part, when we started in 2012, we realized that the most expensive part of circular economy is the logistics, particularly the reverse logistics. So the first thing that we thought is that we should have a very good system, a system that provides us with information to take intelligent decisions. And at that time, we realized that there's no such system. So we searched inside Flex, inside Brazil, outside Brazil, and everything we found was systems that could be customized to reverse logistics, but actually they were for direct logistics. So what we did, we created our own digital platform. So we started all the process digital since the request from the consumer through the collection until the point and when the product was recycled. Everything is digital since 2013, more or less. So this was one thing that improved our logistics in terms of 30%. So we, at that time, we were 30% cheaper than others by using technology. But we keep on investing in technology. And today we have a system that is much better. And on the left side of this presentation, you can see one sensor. We call it Sync Beam. It's an IoT sensor that actually tell the system that a beam is empty or full. So we will only collect the beam if it's full. And all the process is automatic. So there's no human intervention here. The sensor tells the system that the beam is full, and the system tells our logistic partner that he needs to collect the beam. On the right side of the presentation, we see artificial intelligence. So we use artificial intelligence to connect with our customers and to using by chat or by WhatsApp. They can connect with us, they can request a collection, and the system automatically takes some decisions. Related to technology for recycling, in general, when we think about recycling, we think about a place that has no technology at all, that is dirty, and we are acting in the opposite way. So we took all this expertise that we have from manufacturing of electronic equipment in terms of system, in terms of process, in terms of best practices, and we are using everything on the reverse manufacturing, in terms of dismantling, in terms of recycling. So it's a kind of different company for recycling. What we do there, what we transform electronic waste into printers and computer new parts. And also recently we are transforming plastics into 3D filament for additive manufacturing. So it's simple. So the old electronics can be a source of material for our supply chain, is what we are doing right now. Not only the electronic waste, but also the industrial waste. So visiting our operation, we see many things, boxes, plastics that can be used for making new parts of new electronics. So we are using everything. So like Leandro said, we have a zero waste operation, and the size of this operation is actually very big. So in Sorocaba, we have 5,000 employees. So we have a lot of guys working, a lot of products, a lot of volume material, and we recycle almost everything. So, but process and system is not enough. So you have to apply technology, and we have a very good lab and very good workers there that confirm that our the quality of material that we produce is very, very good. It's actually compatible. It's equal to virgin material. In terms of repairing and remanufacturing, we also use the same process and system that we use for manufacturing the equipment for the first time. So we use the same parts, we use the same process, the same testing equipment. What enables us to take a computer like this in this slide and transform it into almost a new computer. So it's a used one. Sometimes it's not working, but we can repair it and we can make new computers like this one. So we can transform one computer that was some time ago could be considered waste, but now it's new and we can resell this, or in some cases, in the case of bronze products, we just send to NGOs in Brazil. And still in the repair and remanufacture area. So when we talk about cell phones, of course we have a much higher volume. In this case, is more than 10,000 units per month. So it's a lot of products that we are using, our technology, our knowledge to create new products. After like 7 years of experience, we realize that recycling is good, repair is good, but the best impact that we could provide to the world is by designing new equipment in the right way. So we created what we call Product Innovation Center, where we got experience that we have from manufacturing, from direct logistics and reverse logistics, from recycling for repair, and from our consumers to make new products. Not only products, but we are supporting also some new companies, some startups. And the idea is that the business model could be changed by these new startups. So we are supporting today like 4 new startups there, and we have experience with design of new products as well. Just to mention what we do there in terms of products. So we have a circular design process that we have studied a lot. What is in the literature, but we have improved it with our own experience. We have strategy for circular design, a strategy for product life extension, and to choose the right materials. One example is this one. Sorry about the picture. The real picture is not this one, but it's a high-end electronic product that we intentionally modify the picture. But in this case, it's actually it's a European customer of ours that we helped them to make a more circular design. And we did some let's say simple things like we reduced the dimensions of packaging, we designed with the same material of their old equipment so we could take the products back, recycle and use the same material for the new products. We replaced labels like paper labels or plastic labels with laser engraving, so it's much easier to recycle. And we made a lot of changes in terms of design to prevent losses of products in maintenance. So this is the kind of thing that we are applying our energy right now. We think there's a lot of things to do in this subject, but we are evolving. So now I'm gonna call Leandro to talk about the social impact of our operations.
Thanks, Peter. So when you talk about circular economy, and I think that's a learning as we evolve, circular economy is not only about products and reinsert waste into supply chains. Circular economy is much more about a mindset. So when you think about a new business that embeds the circular economy concept since the beginning, it gives, as the business grows, a possibility to return to society the economic growth, but also the social growth, while we are keeping and maintaining the environment. So to use this circular concept mindset to develop new business, give it this opportunity. So the circular economy gives us this opportunity. So in our initiatives now, everything that we try to do and every new initiative that we have, we think not only how we grow the initiative economically, but how we return to the society in the cities that we are located in Brazil. And that's one of the examples. We are working with the Sorocaba city to deploy technology and sustainability education for kids on the first grade from very early stage of their education. So they learn how to use parts from a product that has no more use and build technology. But they understand since the beginning the importance to do that in a way that you can. Can you go to next, Carlos, please? And finally, when you think about the challenges of this century, guys, we see from the beginning of humankind to today, we passed from several technological revolutions that bring us to the situation that we are today. We have lots of technology. We resolve lots of challenges of the humankind, but the reality is today we need to find a solution that not only balances the relationship of the man with their future, their internal needs, as also reconnect the man through technology to the environment. So we are speaking about the challenge of this century, the challenge of the industry of the future, the people of the future. Our future, that's we think is more like the industry of the future, the industry 5.0. That's not only like the industry 4.0, that's smart, but is smart and sustainable at the same time. They release, they unleash the potential of economic growth together with social growth and keeping and sustaining the environment. So that's what we wanted to share. We are now open for questions, and thank you very much.
Thank you both very much. I'm going to give you both a little break whilst I launch another poll. for our attendees, there's a poll appeared, and I would like to ask you where you are on your circular economy journey. So if you are advanced, your statement is further down the list, and if you're early days, then you're towards the top. So we just want to get a feeling, and we're going to of where you are, and we're going to share this percentage data with the local enterprise partnership. And this gives me an opportunity to give Carlos and Leandro a little break from presenting before the questions come. And we do have some really interesting questions that have appeared. So where are we on the poll? I would have said nearly everyone's voted. So I'll leave it. Oh no, about half of you voted. I'll leave that up a little bit more. Carlos, can you go to the next slide? And it's just to say to both Carlos Ohde and Leandro Santos, thank you very much for that really interesting presentation. And as you say, Leandro, we're open for questions. So I'm going to end the poll. I will share the results so everyone can see. And so most people listening to this are really early in their journey, but we've got some really experienced organizations here. There's 7 organizations that have replied saying they're really advanced, they're fully circular organizations. So thank you very much for that. We've got quite a lot of questions in the Q&A, and I'm going to select the very first one, the one at the top, and it's a question, and I haven't pre-planned this with you both who's going to answer it, so I will just open it up to both of you. It's really a country question of what's the impact of the circular economy in Brazil today, and what's the forecast that's coming through of where it's going.
So Carlos, let me start. You can complement. I think Brazil is passing as everywhere in Earth the challenge to design new legal setup to support sustainable initiatives in circular economy. 2 years ago, our sector, that's the electronic sector, signed a commitment to guarantee in 5 years over 25% of all post-consumer waste will be recovered, and that's going to evolve in the coming years. So most of the sectors, like the electronics, is moving this direction. There is a good commitment either for the central industry and the federal government and state government to look for solutions. But as everywhere, there is no the right answer, but we are open, and I think Brazil is looking for possibilities to grow in this new way of thinking, the new economic model. So that's my view. But there's a lot of to go yet.
I think actually Brazil is going the direction of recycling and repairing. It's going well, but the real change in terms of business models and also design, it's still to be started. So there's few initiatives in terms of business model and design.
I'm going to keep with the big questions, and Carlos, can I ask you to end the presentation so the audience can see both of you at the same time? And okay. I've clicked on a question from Antonio what are the major social challenges of stimulating a more circular, sustainable mindset among the population? And let's say that we're talking about the Brazilian population.
So I think it's not only Brazilian, but most of the world. So we work a lot with technology. We work a lot with artificial intelligence, automation, and we know that this will create an impact on the employment of people everywhere. So on the other hand, we have to create jobs like reverse logistics, job like product screening, this kind of job. So if on one hand we are losing jobs for automation and artificial intelligence, we can create jobs on more like repetitive tasks that comes from circular economy. This is very, very nice.
I'm going to try and sort of keep it broad, but gradually come in closer and closer to Flex in detail. So there is a question from Paul on Flex as an international company. Do operations across the world operate a circular economy on the principles, or is this unique to Brazil? So it's we're still in the big picture here.
I think in Brazil, the fact that we start like 7 years ago with a customer that has a very advanced sustainable targets help us to develop some additional process for the normal baseline of Flex. Flex has a very high level of commitment to sustainability. So there is investment in solar energy for years. We stimulate our employees to volunteer and to make difference social and sustainability. We have a very well balanced about our targets worldwide to balance economic growth with ESG practices. So I feel there is lots of initiatives across Flex, and now I feel more and more we are getting those best practices on those areas and making standards to offer a worldwide solution on circular economy mindset and technology and deployment. But today I would say, at least on the last part of convert waste in raw material, Brazil is a little ahead, and we are sharing those experiences. But there's good experience. This year, our operations in UoY got the zero waste certification. One facility in Mexico will be certified early next year. And in Europe, we have another facility that was certified last year. So all of this momentum is gaining more and more velocity. And I expect in the coming 2 years, much more about what we talk here will be across the board.
And I think in some ways you've already answered part of the next question through the presentation and what you've just said, Leandro. But the question for both of you, the thinking in Brazil, this is a when you started 7 years ago, I think you were an outlier, if my understanding is correct. Are you still an outlier today in Brazil? And is there anything coming through from the government to incentivize both yourselves and others to progress down this route?
I think as everywhere, the legal setup that we have is for linear economy. So, and that's a barrier to grow the circular economic model. And you need to find out the way that the economic value came from sustainability. Today, we don't have a clear path to transform social growth, environment sustainability in economic, whatever we mean the economics there. Normally what you do, we create more regulations and we put more penalties over who is doing beyond economics. So this is a challenge, and we are open to learn, and we are looking for good models. And I think Brazilian government is open also to try and test if we find good opportunities to explore circular economy models. So only, and as example, in Brazil, if you use recycled parts in a product, the government gives you some benefits in terms of the manufacturing of this product in the Brazilian regulation. It's like a small piece that we advanced in the past years.
And if I can extend that to Carlos, without naming names of companies, are you in contact? Is there a really good community in either the electronics sector in Brazil or generally in Brazil where Carlos, you've got other people that you can go and talk to and share good practice, or are you searching globally for that inspiration and those really tough questions, tough conversations?
Yeah, Peter, well, I think we think sustainability is not a matter of one company or one group of companies. It's a global challenge. So as much as we can share, as we can learn from experience from abroad, is better. So we are cooperating with our customers. We are cooperating with Brazilian associations of electronics industries. We are cooperating internationally. So everything that help us to make our product better, our process better. We are hoping to do that. We are hoping to cooperate. We are seeing this actually in our customers, because we serve different customers. They are competitors between them. So the first customer is absolutely competitor of our second customers in Synchtronics. So, but in the reverse logistics and sustainability, they cooperate. So this is a nice thing that we see. I told that you cannot expect support from companies in general, but we can select the right companies that have the right targets and cooperate among them. So what we are doing is just like this. So we are picking the guys from government that want to help. We are picking the guys from we're picking the right companies, the right politicians, and the right leaders inside the companies to create a different model. And if we analyze the fundamentals of circular economy, they are very robust. So I do believe that applying technology, we will be more efficient than the linear economy in a new future, like 5 years or 10 years.
Carlos and Peter, only to add something, I think when you talk about simple and unique material circular economy models, we have some good examples in Brazil that inspire our operations. We have the aluminum chain, we have drugs for agriculture. So those are very well developed in Brazil. So they are good examples of circular economy models that are working. But again, they face the same issues when you think about the legal setup that is not stimulating and making this be accelerated. But there is good example. When you go to complex products like automotive, when you go to electronics, when you go for energy sectors, those ones are very few unique solutions. And we took like 8 years to get this where we are. So it's true, we are learning and sharing as everyone can grow together. But there is good examples and lots of challenges coming for technology solutions.
And then just picking up on that point then of the uniqueness of where you found yourself 7-8 years ago, how did you acquire the knowledge? Because you didn't have necessarily the people with all of the background and all the skill sets and all of the knowledge that you needed to get where you are today. So where did those skills come from? From within the company? Did you recruit externally from electronics or from different sectors?
Actually,
I'll let Carlos respond, but before, as I said, Brazil, we can learn very fast. Yeah. So there's a lot of experimentation, but I'm going to pass to Carlos to talk because he was the technical leader of this journey.
Yeah, actually, we created this group inside Flex Brazil. Most of the guys, I would say that 98% of the guys came from Flex. At that time we started, we didn't want to copy the recycling thing that we have in Brazil. We want to create a different thing. So we did not recruit the guys from recycling industry. We just create the new guys with the new thinking, with the new mindset. So most of the guys are from Flex or from the electronic industry.
Right. So, moving on, we're coming down into more about technically what you're doing in your processes. So the next one is right at the very top, and it's about the products that you receive. Where are they coming from? So is it just your own products, as in ones that you've manufactured, or are you taking them from other sources such as landfill or recycling centers?
So we take products, electronic products, any kind of electronic products. It doesn't matter if it's manufactured or not by Flex. So there's no restriction on this. The only thing that we do not deal with equipment like air conditioning or different equipments from electronic industry.
No, great. I'm going to pick a question a lot further down from Hamilton about the printers. Is it 100% of the printers are using recycled plastics?
Good question. So we do not have enough material to 100% of printer recycled. But when we make a new part, this part is a 100% recycled plastics. So there's no combination of virgin and recycled plastics. They are either recycled or virgin. They are not mixed. So this guarantees the quality for us. So we are able to track the quality of the lots of material. So and I can assure that the recycled plastic has the same quality as a virgin plastic in most of cases.
That was my next question about the quality. So we'll skip that one then. It's the next question then is how many times the material can go round? Are the materials being degraded as they circuit through the loops, or can it be continuous?
Yeah, we do not have actually these statistics very very strong, but I would say that the myth that recycled material is a low quality material is because there's a mix of material. For example, if I mix polypropylene with polyethylene and with polystyrene, they will make a very bad plastic. So as soon as we have a very good process of separating plastics, and if I assure that polystyrene is just polystyrene, so we have a very high quality, and then we can recycle at least more than 3 times, let's say. But I don't have the research in my hands to say, oh, it's 10 times or 20 times, I don't know. But for sure, the main target here is to separate the plastics. And it's not easy, it's difficult because all plastics has almost the same density. You cannot differentiate by color, you cannot differentiate by smelling or by weight, so it's very difficult. And that's the main point of recycling, separate the material.
And then that ties into part of your presentation. You showed us some very large labs from the analysis equipment and quality control, and that's where that lab comes in then, of making sure that what you think is a certain grade of plastic is what it is.
Yes, yes. And most of company doesn't have that lab. That's what differentiates us from the other companies.
Okay, I'm going to pick one from Antonio here. You were saying, and I think I might know what your answer is based on what you've just said there about knowing what it is, but there's a question about collecting plastic waste from the ocean. You said there's a shortage, or you don't necessarily have enough supply of plastics coming back. So is it possible to collect plastic waste from the ocean and recycle this, even if it's been exposed to harsh environments?
I believe so. I would say that most of plastic in the ocean is from packaging, not from electronics. Right. But yes, it's possible. I've seen some cases. For example, Adidas have one very nice case of making new tennis shoes by ocean plastics. So it's possible. But I do believe that in this case, the reverse logistic part would be more expensive. So in this case, it's a challenge of cost of collecting this material, not only recycling, but collecting. I think it's the most expensive challenge here. But technically, yes, we can recycle material from ocean. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I realize time is marching on, we've been in the session about 50 minutes, and just to give the attendees an indication, are we okay to carry on and keep on piling these questions onto you? Do you have time for another 5, possibly just under 10 minutes?
I do have, yeah.
No problem.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. But it was a bit cheeky to ask to carry on otherwise. Another question on the materials and the flows. There's one about your experience in circular economy, and what would be the type of material that you're finding that you can recover most of in volume? Is it copper? Is it plastic? Is there a dominant type of or a volume of material that you're finding coming through?
We recycle at least 95% of everything that we receive in Syntronics. So it's 95% transformed into new material. That means we recycle plastics. In this case is what we call closed loop recycling, because we collect the plastic and we recycle internally at Flex, and we make new parts in our supply chain. So what we call internally. But for example, metals like copper, iron, and other metals, we use partners to recycle it. So we recycle cardboard, paper, plastic, metals. We do not recycle like 5% of the material, but we do not send to landfill. We use everything to create energy. So it's a zero waste operation. So everything is used somehow.
We've still got more questions to go through, so I will keep on going and make the most of your time that you've generously given. The next question is the drive and the demand. Where's it come from? The retailers or the end consumers? Are you actively able to influence those groups, or yeah? Tell us more about that relationship between your customers or the end retailers.
In our case, our demand came from our customers. So in Brazil, the OEM has responsibilities, and they trust and they hire us. We partner to guarantee we execute the reverse logistics and guarantee the proper final destination. In this case, is we reborn the product in raw material. So this solution is part of initiative that came and was demand from one customer in Brazil, and we grow in the past 7 years, and we serve today over 20 customers. So that's our main business, is a B2B. In case of Brazil, the association of all electronic industry agreed with the government for the post-consumer, they are going to bring from any consumer. So we also partner with this entity that's called the Green Electron, that manage the electronic waste takeover from the consumer in the market. So it's beyond the B2B that we manage, and we receive parts, and also we give a reborn then through Syntronics. So we offer these two kinds of stuff, but we don't have a direct relationship with retailers or end customer. It's B2B or the association.
Okay. And then I just keep on this theme one more time. One more question on this theme of the material flows. What sort of a question from Alicia is, how do you incentivize people to give the old products to you? Do you pay them? Do they donate them? Is it that reassurance that you are going to take care of it responsibly? What's the incentive for people to use you?
That, I think, is the biggest challenge. So
okay.
When you think about products that they don't have personal data, like printers and those ones, people has less difficult to return back. But when you think like computers, still, we try to show them. We have developed an idea of product with history, because Flex has very high level standard and certification to prove we transform that products with responsibility, taking care of the security data, and we convert in raw material. But that's very few portion of what you receive back. So receive back today, mainly the B2B that are returned to our customer. But that's the biggest challenge, because that the green electro was created. So they must create incentives for the people bring back from the home, don't throw away, and take for entities. And we are the most advanced on electronics to take care of the post-consumer products. But I think that's the biggest challenge today, because the consumer has not, and that's come back to the legal aspect of the circular economy. We don't have a regulatory view how this will be valued through the back supply chain, or the logistic reverse supply chain. But that's a challenge everywhere, including in Brazil. I don't know, Carlos, if you want to add anything more.
Yeah, I would just divide the question to, for example, for companies, for B2B, there are some regulations or certifications. If you are a company and you have ISO 14000, for example, you must ensure that the waste correctly disposed. So those companies choose Synchronous to destinate the waste, because they know how to it will be treated, and they have the certificate, everything. And in terms of people in general, so it seems that people have some kind of emotional attachment to the gadgets. So it's very difficult to convince them to give it back to the company. So I would say that 5% of the population is environmental conscious and will give back the product, but most of people want to keep with them. It's difficult. It's hard to overcome this.
I think I'm one of the guilty ones, not wanting to part with something that I think I could have a use for. But
yeah.
Anyway. I'm going to, I realize time is short, so I want to end on 2 schools questions. And the first one is from Luisa, who I know you kindly showed around with a large group last September. Since the lockdown, there's been a demand for equipment in schools in the UK, and they're saying refurbishment is a sustainable way to do this. And that's for the UK. Have you had the same experience in Brazil with schools?
Yes, we did have, and we actually we provide some equipment, not only computers but also cell phones, to some schools. But the problem is in Brazil, the problem is huge, and we could collaborate with some few units, let's say. And we are also providing computers for NGOs, for example, for supporting the guys that came from Venezuela, from guys from other countries that are in Brazil right now. But yes, it's a challenge, and the repaired and refurbished equipment is a potential solution. It's a potential solution. I totally agree with this.
Okay, wonderful. I've got one final question, because I know we've taken up a lot of your time, and it's been a wonderful presentation. One of the things in your presentation that came through very clearly, that it wasn't just about the process, it wasn't just about the business, but it was about the business in its societal context and the environment around it. So there's a question from somebody by the name of D, that you talked about your efforts at developing circular economy mindset in schools, and presumably there's a limit to what you can do in this respect. So is there any government-led initiative of this sort, or are you trying to persuade government to actually put circular economy thinking into the schools, in particular into the curricula? So much more embedding of the circular economy mindset. So are you able to influence that? Is there any developments of that in Brazil?
Let me take this, and I think that's, let me give a broader answer.
Okay.
I think when you talk about the challenge of this century, we need to have a new economic model. Okay, and And it appears, at least my perspective, and I'm a late, I enter late on this. Circular economy is a very good answer because the circular economy concept is simple to understand. So how we can deploy this across and use our own example to promote circular economy everywhere. So we need to start from us, from our home, from our company, from our university, from our city. So today, Flex is at the city engagement. So last year we engaged with Sorocaba, and we developed a program to all public schools in Sorocaba that was to be launched this year. Unfortunately, probably will be next year. And we have an opportunity, and we learned that because as we do that as an industrial, we can take from the waste very standard kits to teach either sustainability and technology. So this kit is standard, so they can be deployed not in millions, but hundreds of them. We plan to affect 200 schools, not as for everyone, but for at least be part of the curriculum of those schools, and people can engage earlier. Another initiative, we are partnered with some universities in Brazil to offer postgraduate courses on circular economy to influence the entrepreneurs and the government. At the city, we think there is a very, very good relationship. And now we are trying to influence more. People are learning. So I think when we share, it's possible by our example. What we can do what we're doing. We are doing by ourselves, by our company, by our city. If everyone starts to look for this example and try to apply, we can do much faster. And I can attest 80% of circular economy results came from very simple and no money initiatives, came from our willing to do. 20% requires a lot of investment and technology and training, but 80% of the gain you can do with very simple initiative, and came from our leading example or willing to change. So I invite everyone to try in your home tomorrow, try to learn more, try to share, and you see in few time more people will be involved, and that this opportunity is great, Peter, because we can share. There is place that did. So we like to share our history, because 7 years ago, no one believed this would be besides Carlos and few people. And now everybody in Brazil, Flex Brazil, believes, and we are sharing this dream and keep it trying to expand. And I think that we can influence. We are at the seat level, but I believe 2 years we'll be in state level, and in 5 years, maybe we can influence the whole Brazil, and who knows what's next. So count on us, and we'll be sharing and collaborating to this dream. I think that's a dream that we can dream and you can make feasible. You are in mute, Peter.
I know. I was going to invite Carlos. Have you got any final words to say on either the circular economy in general or school curricula?
So, in same line that Leandro told, so we believe that circular economy is a solution for. It's not related to environment only; it's also environment, but it's mainly, in our case, in our experience, it's mainly social. And we are trying to share this experience with other companies. We are open to learn with other countries, with other companies as well. So it's a matter of trying. So the guys that are trying, they really find something that adds value to their value chain, to the companies or the schools or the government. So just to add what Leandro said, we are also talking on the federal government to create a kind of industry 4.0 plus circular economy in the region of Sorocaba. So we are talking to them. We are creating some infrastructure to make this possible. So it's not fast, and it's absolutely not fast to do a thing like that. but we are day to day with discipline trying to move some steps ahead. So let's try, let's do.
Thank you. I've used up too much of everyone's time here because I'm too interested in the story here. I'm assuming that it's okay if I suggest to those listening, if they've got comments or feedback or ideas, that they could channel them through me, and I could forward them to you both, because that was a fantastic presentation. It was so broad. It was about Brazil. It was about the detail of exactly what's going on in part of a production line. It was such a broad but also specific presentation. So I just wanted to thank both Carlos Ohde and Leandro Santos for a wonderful presentation from Flex. So thank you both very much.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone that joined us. It was a pleasure to be here and an honor. Thank you very much. Take care.